And I thought, what a cool girlfriend thing to do, to be able to take my boyfriend to this basketball game.
Yeah.
This is like before they were losing to like the
Yeah,
Saints.
hey, good work.
Yeah, looking out for him.
I know,
mean,
right?
this is-
I know.
Yeah. This podcast was brought to you by Outsider. Check us out at www.outsider.com. Outsider is an outdoor lifestyle brand owned and operated by me, retired Navy SEAL Sam Mackey, and my dear friend and former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler. At Outsider, we encourage everyone to get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Head over to outsider.com to check out our unique patent-pending drinkware. Outsider's drinkware can be customized with your personal or business logo. Go to outsider.com, upload your logo, and we will send you visual proofs and great wholesale pricing. And don't forget, get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Take It Outside podcast, where we talk about all things outdoors and just getting outside in general where life happens. Today's guest is Riley Gaines. She's the host of Gaines for Girls podcast. Riley grew up in Nashville, where we're at right now, and was a 12-time All-American swimmer at the University of Kentucky. In 2022, she tied for fifth in the 200-yard freestyle at the NCAA championships, then stepped away from competition and began speaking out about fairness in women's sports. She and her husband are expecting their first child in September. Riley, welcome to the podcast and congratulations on that first baby.
Well, thank you. I am just thrilled to be on with you guys. And I know it's wild. I am just about 35 weeks now. So crazy. This pregnancy has gone by so fast. It's a little girl, which just feels very poetic. So very, very excited.
Has the pregnancy been easy, hard? What you expected?
Easy peasy, to be honest with you. Up until this point, again, 5 weeks left,
Sure.
I have had literally zero symptoms, like beginning to now kind of rounding out. No morning sickness, no fatigue, no aversions, no anything, other than the fact my pants don't button as they once did. But that's it. So I told my husband, I'm like, look, I could do this 1,000 times over. He's like, Riley, let's have the baby first. But it's been a breeze. And I think that's a large part of that is I think maintaining fitness prior to pregnancy.
Sure.
And then even still throughout the pregnancy, being as fit as I possibly can. I think that's what's made it so easy.
I think my wife was running really late. I wouldn't say 35 weeks. I don't know when she stopped, but she was jogging and running and then just started walking. But
Katie's a savage, so.
Yeah. We have three girls, and she worked out through all her pregnancies and everything like that. You're in for an absolute treat. It's the greatest thing in the world looking at that little baby. And you're like, I feel like you really don't know what love is until you lay your eyes on that brand new little baby. And so I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. My husband is petrified. We did one of those blood tests to find out if it's a girl or a boy. And, you know, it's this email, and you scroll to the bottom of the email, and we're sitting there and we scroll, and of course it says girl. And the first words that come out of his mouth is, I'm going to jail, which feels like a good sign you married the right one, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting times ahead, but what I've noticed, my kids are 5, 7, and 9, my girls, and Katie and them will tiff a little bit. You know, that girl attitude or mom-daughter deal, and I'm allowed to be on the outskirts. But I don't have a boy, but I assume if I had a boy, him and I would go at it as well.
Oh, gosh.
And I'll tell you, it never ends.
No.
I'm 25 now. I have a 27-year-old sister. I have a 16-year-old sister, one brother, and my mom and all of us girls, me being 25, we tiff like we're sisters. Like, she's a friend of mine now, especially being older, but it's the best thing ever, having that kind of friendship relationship again as you get older too. And now that I'm expecting my child, we live very close. It's all very exciting.
How are you and the boys? Do you guys butt heads?
Oh, I mean, Jackson has a problem every single day. My middle son, so I have boy, girl. Camden's pretty easygoing. He's the firstborn, so he wants to do everything right. Jackson, no. He's got his own plan for everything. Every day, there's some sort of argument, disagreement, about something he wants to do or thinks he should get to do.
I think it's hilarious because June will say something that gets under Katie's skin, and then Katie will say something back to her, and they're just the same person.
Oh yeah, it's
And they both hate to see me smile when they're arguing. So I try to excuse myself, but yeah, it's something else. And you grew up here in Nashville.
I grew up, born and raised. I'm never leaving. I live just a little north in the Hendersonville, Gallatin area. I love it. We've got about 25-ish acres here. So it's like a little slice of heaven on earth. It really is. Obviously, as Nashville has really expanded and grown, I would say the past 6 or so years, really since COVID, I think that's where we saw that big influx of people coming in, realizing, what a bastion of freedom Nashville really is, the state of Tennessee is. It's grown a lot, but all of the money that my husband and I have, we're just trying to buy land, secure as much of it as we can.
Smart.
I love it here. Again, my family's here. It's just home.
How long we came back during the summers in football, right? So you've pretty much been here since you left high school?
Yeah, since like 01.
Okay. All right.
On and off. I mean, I would come back in the summers or off season, but yeah, pretty much since 01. Your dad went
You've
to
seen
Vandy.
it change a lot then.
Yeah. Your dad went to Vandy.
He did. My dad went to Vandy. He played ball. His
Fullback.
older brother played ball there. His other brother played at Tennessee. So big football family. My dad's oldest brother, the one who went to Tennessee, he played 12, 15 years with the Seahawks, Chargers, Rams. My dad's other brother played. My dad was with the Eagles for a bit. So we love football. And when my dad found out I was having a girl, he was a little bummed. He was like, man, where's the next football prodigy? But I mentioned I have a brother. He plays in college now. So it's fun. We are super excited for, I think, SEC football especially. There's nothing better.
I think it's going to be a wild year in the SEC, unfortunately. I mean, I think there's going to be there's so much parity in college sports, I think, and in football at this point, and basketball for the most part.
Hey, it's across the board.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me. Parity is a good word to describe what we have seen the past few years from the NCAA especially.
What sports did you play growing up?
Everything. Man, I was so fortunate to have parents who, my mom played Division I softball, so having that kind of mentality that your parents instill in you, now it's probably considered some form of child abuse, but my parents were like, look, you have to play a sport. We don't care what sport it is, but you will be playing a sport. Obviously, it teaches you so much in terms of leadership and working for something bigger than just yourself, setting goals as a team, working to achieve that. So did softball, did gymnastics, did soccer, did basketball. I mean, I did it all.
Where'd you go to high school?
And again, go ahead.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Station Camp High School.
Okay.
Grew up in Old Hickory, so went to Andrew Jackson, then came up to the Gallatin, Hendersonville area, and that's when I started going to Station Camp.
Okay.
Learned how to swim at Old Hickory. My dad, again, being, I mean, you guys know, I don't have to tell you, kind of like the macho football player, he was like dead set on the fact that swimming was not a sport. It was like a recreational hobby. And this never made sense to me. I'm
He's
like,
like,
Dad,
I can swim.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Like it's really hard. Like I'm in the water 6 days every week. We're training before school. You go to school, straight from school, you go back to the pool to train for 3 more hours. Like I'm swimming 10 miles a day. It's
Taxing.
no
Swimming's
hobby
hard.
to me. And his justification for this was, Riley, I will never forget. He sat me down and he said, Riley, any sport, any hobby where a man is wearing Speedos, wearing panties, that's not a sport. So that was his justification. So I played softball really all the way up through college. It was softball and swimming, or to college. And then I started getting recruited. And of course, I knew I couldn't do both at the level and with the success that I wanted to in college. And so I ended up choosing swimming, which I really am so grateful for. The way that you're able to continue doing it beyond graduating too. keeping you fit, keeping you healthy, and did some great things in my career, things I'll forever be proud of.
You know, swimming is one of those things you just do forever. There's some, I just moved down here from Virginia Beach a little over 2 years ago, and there's some old SEALs that meet at the beach a couple times a week, and I bet in their 60s, and they go out there and they'll do a 1 or 2 mile ocean swim during the
Dude, it's
week and
no
on the
joke.
weekends. And yeah, you're right. Because it's swimming, but ocean is a different environment. You have to guide, you have to play the current, and the whole
Sharks.
night. Yes, there is.
Do you swim in the ocean?
I maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago swam Alcatraz.
Great white
so
sharks.
I got dropped
a lot
off
of them
at the
right
prison.
there.
Why would you
Actually, it was
drive?
with a bunch of Navy SEALs.
Mm-hmm.
Got dropped off at the
Idiots.
prison, and it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles back to shore. So the distance isn't that bad,
Yeah.
but number one, it's freezing cold. Like
Okay.
the water temperature is like 50, 55 degrees. The current, the waves, obviously it's like great white shark infested waters.
That was it.
But I escaped,
that
and
didn't-
it's 7.5 months pregnant.
The sharks didn't bother you? Was your husband like, okay, go ahead and do this? Or is he like, this is a horrible idea?
I'm one of those wives who made him do it too.
Oh,
He's like, why do
gosh.
you sign me up for all of your crazy ideas? He swam at Kentucky as well. That's where we met, started dating,
Okay.
obviously got married in my senior year. But he has taken the approach now since graduating. You kind of go two ways, of course, as you guys know. Like, you either very much stay in it
Sure.
or you are very much not in it. And we have gone two separate ways there.
So we have this debate, not debate, we cover this topic a lot. How do you feel about kids only doing one sport to, like, hey, if you're going to play football, you got to play football, or baseball, and they just only stay on one sport for their, from 5th grade or 8th grade on? What are your thoughts on that?
It is so true. You see this over specialization in kids starting like at 6 years old. Like, you'll have like year-round sports starting at 6, 7, 8 years old, which is wild to me. I think there is so much benefit in being a well-rounded athlete. Again, I say that as someone who played lots of sports. So I don't see a necessity in that sort of specialization that we're seeing in kids until, high school, I would say, is probably when you need to start narrowing it down, especially if you want to compete at the next level. But to do this in elementary school or sometimes even before, that's pretty intense. And I think the worst part about it's not even the kids themselves, it's the parents
It's
of these
definitely
kids.
the parents. It's definitely the parents driving that and
Yeah.
making them do those sorts of things. It's just kind of the generation we're in, I think. These parents sometimes even want it more than the kids, and there's only such a percentage that's going to go on and make money or make the Olympics or make a professional team. So, parents are just going for it, I guess.
I'm just going to let my kids just do whatever. If they only want to play one sport, that's good, But if they want to play multiple sports, I'm going to encourage that, and especially, my girls are the same:
Well,
gymnastics,
I think,
swimming.
Yeah, I think a lot of these parents are trying to get ahead of the 8 ball, but at 8 years old, you might have a completely different athlete at 14 or 16 or 18 years old than you had at 8.
Mm-hmm.
They might have a someone that blooms really fast, someone that's a late bloomer. You just never know what they're going to come into.
I think
And burnout is so real.
Oh, absolutely.
Doing a sport, especially if you expect to, let's say you start at 8 years old, you expect to do it all the way through college and hopes of even beyond that. That's nearly 15 years of the same sport.
Yep.
And at any sort of competitive level, it's something that's every day. There's not a lot of off season in sports anymore. You go straight from school ball to AAU or whatever it is. Like,
Travel.
burnout's real.
When did you realize you were going to get a scholarship or go to college and continue swimming on a higher level?
So when I was about 12, I would say prior to 12, I started swimming when I was young, like most kids do, like the typical summer swim.
Yep.
Old Hickory Country Club. My parents threw me in, did that for a few summers, started doing year round. Age 12, that's when I was, leading the nation in several events. And I was so oblivious to to what this even meant. Like I would have, my parents would have other swim parents come up to them and say, "Hey, did you know Riley just got her quadruple A time in this, this, and this?" And my parents are like, "What does that mean?" Like we had no idea, right? My oldest sister didn't swim. It was new to us, this whole swimming world. So I was pretty naive to my success or talent or skill level until about 12, and I was the fastest 12-year-old in the country. And so, still didn't think too much of it. Again, what are you in fifth, sixth grade at the time? So keep training, get to probably sophomore, junior year of high school. I was 16 years old, actually 15 years old at the time, and I qualified for Olympic trials, which at 15 years old, I was, one of the youngest there. So that was pretty surreal. I will never forget. It's in Omaha, Nebraska, of all places, and they have this beautiful, huge pool set up. And so you walk in, and it's my first day there. Again, I'm like a timid 15-year-old, and this is with all the greats. So you've got Katie Ledecky and Michael Phelps, and I walk in that very first day, and I open the elevator door, and the elevator door's open, and there is Michael Phelps standing there. And I just remember being like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like, I'm too young. I don't know what is going on." And so like I was super reluctant to ask him for a photo. I knew he like did not want to get hounded for this. He of course very graciously obliged. So that was when I was 15, turned 16, started getting recruited for colleges. Truth be told, I could have gone anywhere that I wanted to go to compete at the next level. But as I said, I'm very biased in the fact that the SEC is the best conference. And that really is the case for swimming. Like there's so much depth in the SEC. You've got schools like Florida, you've got schools like Georgia, who historically have fantastic swimming programs. And so I knew I wanted to stay in the SEC. I thought I was going to be a Florida Gator, to be honest with you. Ever since I was in middle school, that's where I envisioned myself being. And so I take my trip there, and it didn't feel like how I had worked it up in my head to feel. And so, we're on this official visit, and they're taking you around campus, and they're, all the stops. And so I remember asking one of the coaches who was walking us around, I asked him, like, "How do you know you're at the right place? Like, there's so many pros and cons to weigh." And he said, "Look, we're going to take you to a football game, and you'll get to go on the field before the game, and they're going to play the fight song. And if you get chills when you hear the fight song, that's how you know." Okay. And so, of course, we go to this football game, and I'm standing on the field, and the fight song begins to play. And the only thing that came to my mind, I did not get chills. I thought to myself, what in the world is this? And I'm so sorry, but orange is objectively ugly. Like, I won't look good in this color. I can't go here. So kept taking my trips. Actually, weirdly enough, my boyfriend at the time, who's not my wonderful husband now, he was a big Kentucky fan. Big Kentucky basketball fan. And so the coach had been hounding me, come on a trip. And I had no interest in going here. It was University of Kentucky, right? And so I figured,
Florida
look,
was,
I'll go.
You didn't want to go to Florida at this point. Who was your top two?
At this point, it was probably Georgia.
Okay.
And honestly, I really liked Louisville, which obviously is not in the SEC, but there was one girl there who she was like my role model.
Okay.
I wanted to be just like her. And so I loved their program. But I figured I would take this trip to Kentucky because they were offering me a basketball game. And I thought, what a cool girlfriend thing to do, to be able to take my boboyfriend to this basketball game. Yeah. This is like before they were losing to like the
hey, good work.
Yeah, looking up for him.
I know, right? I know. Yeah. This is before they were losing to like the Peacocks or whoever in the March Madness. So went there, and honestly, like, it was the place. Like, I knew it was the place. I loved the campus. I loved the coaching staff. I loved the team. I loved the resources that they poured into us, even outside of athletics, into our academics, into our service, both things that mattered to me. And so it was that trip that I decided I was going there.
Did you take any trips outside of the Southeast?
No official visits.
Okay.
I had some planned, I think, but ended up scratching those. I knew I wouldn't want to go to California.
Yeah.
Which again, that's where a lot of the very
programs are.
prominent schools are. Stanford, you've got Cal Berkeley, actually Virginia, UVA has the best team, but too far from home. I love home, as I said.
Yeah.
So
Lexington
Kentucky
it was.
close.
You drive there, quick drive.
3 hours.
Yeah.
So
Easy peasy.
you go there, you commit, and then obviously you start swimming. You're doing really well. And when is the first time?
Hold on. When did we ditch the boyfriend? The basketball game boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even make it there.
Oh goodness.
We didn't even make it there.
At least he got a
Actually,
game.
Yeah.
we both made it there.
Okay.
But we were not together there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's funny. I met my husband. As I said, he swam there too. And so it was another one of those just kind of intuitive things. I don't feel like I'm a very intuitive person in general. But I saw my husband. He had this British accent straight off the plane from England. And I was like, ooh, I want him. And so day one, that's when I started really, dating my husband, who now we've been married for over 3 years.
Knew what you wanted.
I went out and had a few beers with some British guys this weekend, and man, one thing about the Brits, they're not as scared of a fist fight or to drink a couple dozen beers.
No, they sure aren't. It's and they drink like, what is it, Stella or whatever, like the gross beer.
I don't mind Stella, to tell you the truth, but I also drink NASCAR beer.
I'm gonna say you don't mind much.
Yeah. So you're swimming at Kentucky, doing really well. When is the first time you heard of Leah Thomas?
Gosh, so completed my freshman year. A lot of that was like an adjustment period, I think, being, training at that high caliber. It wasn't something I was used to, lifting a lot heavier. So completed my freshman year, did well, but I knew I could do more. So sophomore year starts March of 2020. Of course, COVID hits about 2 or 3 days before we're supposed to leave for our national championships. The nation, the world is essentially paralyzed, shut down. Our NCAA championships were canceled. So it felt like kind of this, you didn't really get closure on how you competed and trained that whole year because the pinnacle of your sport was canceled. So it kind of left like this, like I wanted this vengeance, right? And so we come back junior year. And that's when I really had this breakout season. That's when I won my first individual SEC title. I led my team to our first ever SEC title as a team in program history. And I concluded my junior season by placing 7th in the country, which I was proud of, but didn't go my best time. I knew I, again, could achieve more. And so it was really right then and there, my junior year, the end of my junior year, that I set a goal for my senior year to win a national title, which would, of course, mean becoming the fastest woman in the country in my respective event. And so senior year rolls around, and I'm right on pace. This is 2022, I guess, end of 2021 at this point, right on pace to achieve this goal. About midway through my senior season, I was ranked 3rd in the nation in the 200 free, trailing the girl in second, a girl I knew very well by a few 100ths of a second. But the swimmer who was leading the nation by body lengths, might I add, which is a very large margin in a sport that's measured down to the 100th of a second, was a swimmer by the name of Leah Thomas. Me, my teammates, my coaching staff, we had never heard of this name before, which, as you guys can imagine, think about it in your own sport. Like, it's very rare someone at the highest level comes out of nowhere. You've never heard of them before.
You'd been doing this since 12, like competitively. So a name just to pop up like that is random.
And especially when you're looking at the stats on the paper in front of you. Number one, this was a senior. Again, no one comes out of thin air their senior year from University of Pennsylvania, which is not a school that has ever historically produced that caliber of swimmer, leading the nation again by body lengths and events ranging from the 100 freestyle, which is a sprint, all the freestyle events in between, through the mile, which is long distance. None of it made sense. I'm scratching my head. Who is this? We didn't know. And we continued to stay in the dark until an article came out disclosing that Leah Thomas, it says word for word, Leah Thomas is formerly Will Thomas and swam 3 years on the men's team at University of Pennsylvania before deciding to switch to the women's team. And so when I read this, I mean, of course I was shocked.
Yeah.
My whole team was shocked. But really, I kind of felt relieved when I heard this.
Sure.
Because I then went to look up who Will Thomas was out of curiosity. Was this a lateral movement? Knowing all the while, obviously, I wanted to win a national title. This person was a threat to my national title. But I went to look up who Will Thomas was, and he was ranked in the 400s and 500s nationally 12 months prior in the men's division. To now, again, 12 months later, dominating the entire country of women. But again, kind of why I say I felt relieved, because I imagined that the NCAA had rules in place to prevent this from happening, especially at the NCAA championship, right? We had rules against doping. We had rules against using any sort of performance enhancing drugs. We had to get drug tested all the time for these things. Surely, and rightfully so, and so surely they wouldn't allow a man to compete with the women. But lo and behold, the NCAA saw absolutely nothing wrong with this. And it was about 3 weeks before our national championships in March of 2022 that they released a statement saying that his participation in the women's category was a non-negotiable.
Unbelievable. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done tons of research on Leah Thomas, and I'd assume, without knowing, you talked to some of Leah's teammates, and what was the narrative or the rhetoric coming from Leah's teammates or the school?
Well, it was interesting because bear in mind, again, this is in 2021, 2022, which is a very different cultural climate than the one that we're living in 2025. There was a lot more fear around saying something as controversial as men and women are different, or that men can't become women, or vice versa. So in talking to his teammates, learning about what they went through, what we went through on my own team. Again, this is University of Kentucky, where you would not imagine, again, this isn't an Ivy League or any of these schools that have a history of being super liberal and progressive. We're at University of Kentucky, and even still, we were told we would lose our scholarships if we spoke about this. We would lose our friends. No one would ever want to talk to us again. You'll never get a job. No employer will ever hire you because they'll look you up.
Yeah.
And if you speak about this, they're going to see that you're a transphobe. And you don't want that. Riley, you want to go to dental school. Well, no dental school will ever even look at your application if you speak about this. We had to participate in restorative justice circles to learn about how we were the oppressors in the story, how we were the ones who were impeding on his happiness. He just wanted to be happy. Some things in life matter more than winning. Don't you think his happiness is one of those things? We had outside professionals who would come in and sit us down and tell us, girls, your rhetoric, the words that you're using, calling this person a man, like someone somewhere could harm themselves because of it. And you would be effectively a murderer then. Like you would have blood on your hands, and you don't want that. So just be kind. They told us, they had another outside professional who came in, who sat us down and said, girls, look, this what you're advocating for, especially in regard to the locker room. He was in our locker room, right? Which, is a whole different, just total feelings of violation and humiliation to have a 6'4" man fully intact, fully unclothed, undressing, inches away from where you were simultaneously undressed.
What in the world?
Obviously, we as women, some of these girls were 17 years old, like 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old girls. We were incredibly uncomfortable with this.
Rightfully so.
And so we opposed this, but this outside professional, again, that's what they called him, sat us down and said, look, what you're advocating for, it sounds like segregation. And you know who else advocated for segregation?
No.
The KKK. And is that the side of history that you want to be on? Akin to white supremacists and racists? No, I don't think so. So I suggest you be inclusive. There was a lot of fear and a lot of self-censorship. And I'm ashamed to say it, even myself. Like, it took me several months. I found out about who he was, as I said, in November of 2021. I didn't feel confident enough as someone who's always been what I would deem to be a leader, as someone who's always been a Christian, number one, and with conservative beliefs, number two. Even still, I was so scared to say what everyone knew to be true. Every girl on that pool deck, at least 95 to 99% of us saw this as unfair or wrong, but everyone was scared to say it, especially his teammates.
Well, every authoritative figure around you guys was telling you to be quiet and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, they were condoning what was happening, which was the problem. Especially when you're dealing with 17 to 20-year-olds that are still very impressionable. They want to do the right thing. They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get kicked out of school. They don't want to lose their scholarship. It was reckless by the NCAA to do that.
Totally.
I completely agree. What do you think weighed or had more weight? Leah's desire to be a female or desire to win an NCAA championship?
It is so interesting, this conversation. I will say, again, I don't know his intentions. I don't know his heart behind it all. Obviously, when someone goes from being less than mediocre in his rightful category to winning a national title in the women's category, I think it's very fair and valid to question this.
Sure.
And kind of in lockstep with that, like, he was still dating women. Like, it was known because it was he was posting on social media. Like, he was still sexually active with women. So it felt like we were being pranked. Of course, all the while he was calling himself a lesbian, which, like, I think you're just a straight dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this feels super bizarre. Again, in our locker room, it to me, outside, well, I guess kind of outside looking in, but also while being in that environment, like being one of those Division I female swimmers who was personally impacted by this, it's hard to say what his true intentions were or what was going on in his headspace or mentally at that point. But I do believe there was a pretty severe level of narcissism and just sheer entitlement. He displayed an utter disregard, even in personal interactions that he had with the women on the pool deck. He displayed an utter disregard for us, or for our discomfort, or for our feelings, or for our desire to call ourselves champions. It didn't matter to him. He didn't care. So I do think that level of narcissism, it kind of points in one direction there. But it's what we've seen across the board. It's not just this one instance. Again, it's happened obviously at the collegiate level, the high school level. We've seen even in Olympic sports, professional sports, where this continues to happen, and it's only happening one way, where, again, a man, by no means is this a lateral movement. A man goes from mediocre at best to skyrocketing in their performance and accolades and achievements in the women's division.
This episode is brought to you by Alpine Optics. If you spend time in the outdoors, whether you're hunting, hiking, bird watching, or just taking in the view, good optics could make all the difference. Alpine builds binoculars and scopes that are clear, dependable, and made to handle real use in the field. Their image stabilizing binoculars are a favorite of mine. Even if you're glassing offhand or on the move, the view stays steady and sharp. It makes long sessions easier on your eyes and helps you watch things you'd otherwise miss. Whether you're spotting game or you just want to see the world a little clearer, Alpine's gear is built to bring the outdoors into focus. Check them out at alpineoptics.com. Whether you're trekking in the backcountry, bird hunting, or just chasing squirrels in the backyard, your dog needs fuel that can keep up with the adventure. And that's where Montana Dog Food comes in. Born in the heart of Big Sky Country, this isn't just dog food. It's adventure-grade nutrition. Crafted with responsibly sourced ingredients from the Western U.S. and freeze-dried to lock in every ounce of goodness, Montana Dog Food Company delivers clean, powerful fuel for your pup's wild side. No shortcuts, no synthetic junk, just premium, nutrition-packed meals and treats designed to support strong muscles, healthy joints, and endless energy, whether you're trekking trails or snuggling by the fire. So give your dog the food that fuels their adventurous spirit. Go to montanadogfoodco.com and feed your dog the best. Very interesting.
And at that point early on, there was nothing about hormone blockers. There were no rules in place. It was just, you could be a guy
It
and
was
be
a free for all.
hey, I can go play women's sport and no one can say anything.
That was it. It was total self ID. I mean, again, in thinking about the locker room, any man could have walked in that locker room so long as he verbally declared he was a woman. That was it. That was like the literal only requirement. I mean, think of what that is opening the doors to.
Gosh.
Yeah. Nothing good. I mean, I have 3 little girls. I would not want my daughter to be in a locker room with a grown man.
No,
You know?
it's not like my dad.
Yeah.
No.
Again, my dad is very much like I would imagine both of you, where, I mean, I called him, I told him, we knew, of course, he would be competing with us at this point, but we didn't know he was going to be in the locker room until we saw him in the locker room. Like that was our first indication he would be there. And so I immediately left, right? And I called my dad and he said, Riley, I'm going to act like I'm your school's bus driver. Yeah. You know, we have the big, like the big buses that are toting our teams around. No parents, no spectators or whoever. No one else is allowed on the pool deck other than the athletes. And so, or if you have a badge. And so he says, I'm going to act like I'm your school's bus driver. There's the side door. I've already found it. You come and open that side door, and I'm going to handle this myself. And I said, Dad, we already have one man in the locker room. We don't need 2. And I know where you'll end up if you do this, and it will be in an orange jumpsuit. And I love you too much for that. So I've got it. And that was a large part in me kind of finding my voice, was I didn't want my dad to do it for me.
Yeah. That was my next question. What gave you the confidence to speak out and stand up for yourself?
I think a couple things. Number one, as I alluded to, being a Christian, like my faith, before anything, I want to live a Christ-like life. And it's very clear. He created them male and female intentionally and uniquely in his perfect image. And how amazing is it that we have a creator who does not make mistakes? So understanding that and understanding it took a while, again, obviously, those months of finding out this information before that national championships, to where ultimately I then decided to use my voice. It took a while for my perspective to shift in a way to understand that nothing of this world matters, right? Like I'm fighting for the hope and the promise of eternal life. So that was a huge part in me, I think, finding the security and the confidence to not care what anyone else has to say or what the headlines are or any of that stuff. So my faith, number one, again, having a younger sister too, I think that was a big part of it. She's 16 years old. She's an elite level gymnast. And dare I say, which I would never tell her this, she's the best athlete out of all of us. She will go on to do incredible things. I wish could show you a photo of her. She's like jacked. She's 16. As I said, she's just started her junior year in high school, and she's got like a raging 12-pack of abs. She's just this little muscle, and she'll go on to do incredible things. And so the thought of her having to, go through this or share a locker room with a man, and now having and developing and growing a daughter of our own, like that's what this is about.
Sure.
So those are a few of the things. And I think just playing sports in general. Again, it teaches you how to be a leader. That's why I am such, truthfully, a big advocate for everyone playing sports. I think especially women in sports. It teaches you how to set goals, work to achieve those goals. It teaches you how to be persistent and grit and resilience and all things that translate far beyond athletics into your everyday life. I use those things that I really accredit and attribute to playing sports every day, even still.
I have a question for you. So You mentioned you just did the swim from Alcatraz to Pier 39 or wherever you guys ended up at the end of the swim. There are some SEALs there. How do you feel about women in combat, and more specifically, women in the SEAL teams?
Yeah, it's interesting. Look, I'll say I am pretty fully on board with the approach that the current administration, specifically Pete Hegseth, has taken here. Of look, again, there are very real differences between men and women. It's not to say that women are inferior. It's not to say that women aren't capable or strong, but we have our own physical ceilings. Like there is a uniqueness to being a woman, which, and when we're talking about our nation's security, right, there are a few things more important than that right there. It's just not one of those things that I believe should be compromised on in the name of whether it's inclusivity or whatever it is. I just don't think our national security should be compromised on our safety as a nation. So that's kind of my stance there. Now, are there other roles in the combat field where women can be valuable? Of course, I believe so.
Absolutely.
But I believe on the front lines, truthfully, that's a man's job, and for good reason.
When they started pushing this initiative, I was obviously still in the Navy, and we got told, pretty similar to how you got told. Hey, listen, this is happening. There's nothing you can say about it or do about it. And if you say anything, you're going to get reprimanded. Into story. So this just is what's happening in this community right now. And there was no pulse. There was no, hey, let's gather the temperature on this decision. It was just full steam ahead. This is what we're doing. And, I'm right there with you. There is so many roles that women are better at than men, in the military. And some of the best intel folks I've ever worked with, they were female, and you have, the communicators, all the above, pilots, but just being on the front line, it's different. And it's different in a way that you can't explain unless you're there. And the dynamics of living in a mud hut for 6 months with 7 other guys and no showers. And it's just, and then on top of that, gunfights, right? Yeah. And people getting hurt. And it's just a very, very difficult situation and hard to explain. And then throwing a female in the mix also brings in a whole nother, I don't know, it's going to create some interesting scenarios, right? With one, two girls with 7 guys living in a mud hut. And that's a recipe for fraternization and, things going sideways, and then someone looking out for someone else more than they would, normally, and making a decision, tactical decision based on that, ultimately probably, getting someone hurt. So, but I'll be damned, we weren't allowed to say anything like that.
No way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine listening to you say this, like, just the altruistic component when you have a bunch of strong alpha men, right? It's in your nature to look after women, like to be that protector. And so when you add that into the mix, yeah, I would imagine there's a lot that could be compromised there. So it's a good point. And it's like a team, like that's your culture. That's your dynamic. That's I think a large contributor to success and efficacy for sure.
Whenever you started getting vocal, were you surprised at how quickly you became almost the face and the champion of women's sports and protecting it?
100%. Even still to this day, like it's mind blowing to me the opportunities that I have been awarded, the platform that has been built, the people that you get to meet and develop relationships with, the places you get to go, the impact that you can contribute to, all for saying men and women are different. Like all for saying there are 2 sexes. Like that's literally it. That's pretty much my whole shtick.
Yeah,
is saying that there are 2 sexes and that you can't change your sex. Yeah. So when you think about that, it's truthfully unbelievable. It really is. It shows you how desperate we were. Like the level of moral decay that we had reached as a nation, really globally. Again, this is something that transcends just America. We've seen how European nations, whatever it is, Canada, of course, how they have succumbed to some of the, for lack of a better word, like woke trends. But to look back, I mean, 2-3 years ago at what we were facing and to compare that to now where we have made fantastic strides in the right direction. Granted, far from, I think, really securing this victory that I think oftentimes conservatives get too excited about. Like, I'll see people posting on social media right now. It's these videos of like all these sorority girls and they're dancing or whatever, and I'm seeing all these accounts post like, we're so back, the war on woke is dead. I'm like, you guys are stupid. Like, these are just like sorority girls dancing. Like, how does this prove the war on woke is dead? So I think we're far from victory, being victorious in this endeavor, but that's not to diminish the strides that we have seen. So, and I guess a long way to answer your question, am I shocked?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm shocked that this was a conversation. I'm shocked, of course, that I had to be a part of, but I think more broadly speaking, that anyone had to be involved in. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think all three of us can definitely agree. Girls play girl sports, boys play boy sports, but
Boys do play girl sports.
well, that's my question. And there's always going to be gray areas. There's always going to be exceptions to certain rules. I mean, do you see a kind of a loop? I don't know if loophole is the right word. That a guy that would do some sort of sexual reorientation, surgery, blockers, hormone blockers, and still be able to play women's sports?
Truthfully, no.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I think when you get into that conversation,
Yep.
number one, if we're talking about fairness or safety, right? There is no world where that can be ensured, especially after puberty. But if you're looking at before puberty, I mean, then you're talking about 10, 11, 12 years
It's like
old.
child abuse at this point.
Being put on these irreversible and permanent blockers or testosterone or estrogen or whatever it is, and I believe that's, I mean, sinister to even recommend. And I think at the end of the day, then you're just reducing both men and women down to like a testosterone level, and there's so much more to being a woman than what your hormone levels are.
Correct.
I mean, to name just a few things in terms of when I think about, we obviously had at Kentucky, well, at any really college team, you have a men's team and a women's team. And we trained together sometimes, but we were very much separate teams. When I think about the women's team, maybe TMI, but obviously as a woman, you have your menstrual cycle. That's, I mean, 25%, let's say a week, a month, right? That's 25% of your training is impacted by this fluctuation of hormones, by, iron loss, whatever it is that a man could never experience. So all that to say, no, I don't think there's a compromise to be made here. I think the solution is what's been in front of us the past 53 years at this point, which is men compete with men, women compete with women. We've seen some talks of creating a third category. And truthfully, at first, I was supportive of this idea. I thought this is a great way to, I guess, prioritize inclusion, but not at the expense of safety and fairness. But then we saw some organizations create a third category. One of those, actually, the first one really being swimming. After this garnered national attention, they decided to create new rules that would prevent Will Thomas, Leah Thomas from competing in the Olympics with the women. But they said, we'll create a third category for anyone who is non-binary, gender non-conforming, thinks they're something other than what they are, whatever the category was, to which he then went on to sue and said, look, if I can't trample on women in the process, I don't want to swim at all. That's not what I want to do. I don't want my own category. I'm a woman. So then I realized this isn't something that the other side of this debate is really willing to agree to. And that's been the case again across the board. So, and I think when you have any sort of category in sport that is based on identity or an identity factor, like think about it, we don't have a category for religion and we shouldn't. We don't have a category for skin color, and guess what? We absolutely shouldn't. So I think a category for gender identity is, at this point, I do not support that initiative.
makes sense.
What do you know about the Saving College Sports Act? And what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. President Trump, he just signed this executive order a few weeks ago. He put together this council on sports, nutrition, fitness. It's got people like Bryson DeChambeau. It's got Triple H. It's got Harrison Butker on there. So super excited about that and what they're set to tackle. I think especially given that the 2028 Olympic Games is in the U.S. on U.S. soil. So that's exciting. What this executive order does. Number one, I think the thing that kind of got the most attention surrounding this EO was it is bringing back the presidential fitness test, which is just like a comprehensive test for middle schoolers, high schoolers.
I remember it.
Yeah, right. It's like
Yeah.
sit and reach,
run a
sit
mile.
ups, pull ups, run.
Yep.
So I'm excited about this. We did it at my school. I don't think it's been shelved for like 13 years. So we did it. I don't think it was necessarily required in curriculum or we didn't get an award for it. But I had so much fun doing this. And I remember to this day, like being as competitive as I am, it was pull-ups that we one of the little pieces we had to do. And there was this girl, I remember her name, Shelby Ragland. And she was a gymnast. And she could knock out some pull-ups. And I remember like blistering my hands, like holding my breath, like I was not going to get off that pull-up bar until I beat her. And so we had fun with it. So I think that's fantastic. Encouraging health, wellness, fitness in children, especially cool. It stops or it attempts to block the unionization of student athletes. It attempts to stop universities treating student athletes as employees. It intends to stop all sorts of NIL abuse surrounding the NCAA. So I'm super excited about this. Again, we've seen the NCAA. It's proven itself to be a corrupt and truthfully pretty meaningless organization at this point. I think there are other organizations involved in collegiate sports that have much more impact in the way that athletes are treated and the success that we see from athletes. So I'm excited about this. I think anytime you kind of strengthen or I guess tighten the reins on the NCAA is a good thing.
Have you enjoyed getting into the political circus and Clay and Outkick and all of that?
Look, it's Clay's awesome.
He's the best.
Clay is one of the smartest, most genuine, authentic people in the space, and so he's been a huge mentor for me. No doubt about that.
He doesn't back down either.
No way, no way. Which is again, it's rare, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about politics prior, other than, of course, like I voted every chance that I could from the time I turned 18. Voted for Trump in 2020, voted for Trump in 2024, but that was like the extent of what I knew.
Sure.
Again, just as a conservative, I didn't know anything else. I didn't know anything about our government. I knew we had 3 branches. Yeah, didn't know what they did. I still don't know what they do. I don't even think they know what they do.
Yeah, the political atmosphere has changed so much in the last 6 to 8 years. I mean, it's just it's very polarizing now when it wasn't before 10 years ago.
No, it's issues even we saw this week where President Trump unveils these plans to keep DC safe, Washington DC safe, and you've got people protesting. I'm like, he's advocating for less murder.
Yeah.
And you're protesting in the streets about this. Like it is so divisive.
Oh, they'll protest
it is so
about
polarizing.
Anything. Protest about anything.
It doesn't matter what he says.
If it's good or bad, protest.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Riley?
I think the next thing, of course, is motherhood.
Yeah.
Which I'm, as I said, just super excited about. It's just been the most magical, transformative past 8 months at this point. To feel this little baby, this little girl, like moving and kicking and growing, and it's the most magical thing. So very, very excited about that. In terms of the political fight, we have been, there's a lawsuit Gaines versus NCAA, which is super fun, by the way, to sue someone with such deep pockets. That's a really good time. They keep obviously the NCAA. I mean, in any legal setting, of course, they like to draw it out.
Oh,
The
yeah.
lawyers make more money when you're doing that.
Yep.
It's a longer process. The NCAA is stalling. So that's been ongoing for about a year and a half at this point. But new athletes are joining the case every day as plaintiffs. Even just this week, we had another athlete from a college in New York who had a man running on her track team. Again, same thing, using the locker room, same emotional blackmail they faced from their coaches and athletic directors, blah, blah, blah. So that's very exciting. Hopefully we'll see some progress there. The Supreme Court just announced a few weeks ago that they will hear oral arguments surrounding a Title IX case, which is exciting, given this is not something that they have done before on this front. So I can predict that the ruling will be 6-3 in favor of upholding Title IX as it was originally implemented, which is a good thing. And then a pretty scathing dissent written by the liberal justices. So I think there's lots to be excited about. And again, the Olympic Games, that's a big one.
Yeah,
so
huge.
it's exciting stuff in the sports world.
And I just want to thank you, as the father of 3 girls, or being a voice for women and for young girls, and bringing a little sanity back to our nation when it needed it most. So thank you on the behalf of the Mackey family, and congratulations on that little bambino in your belly. What are you most nervous about as being a mother, or like the first week, or I call it baby hell week, the first week after you go home from the hospital.
It is a little bit weird when they give it to you and you're like, all right,
yeah,
kick rocks,
Now
get out of the hospital.
Yeah, I don't feel like the nerves have really hit yet. Even like the delivery process, like I think I'm one of those people who almost feels invincible. Like I'm like, this will be easy. Like this will be fun. It'll be good. She'll be able to. I find myself traveling a lot, especially the past 2 or so years. So I'm envisioning her just kind of being like this portable little human who goes with me. So there's not a whole lot that I'm super nervous about, which is a blessing. My husband, on the other hand, I think that's too, having younger siblings and whatever. My husband, he's like never been around babies. He's the youngest in his family. His family's relatively small. Like he's never been around babies. And so he's like, what do we do? Like, how do I even hold a baby? I'm like, okay, get it together. We'll be good.
Yeah, figure it out. They're pretty resilient.
Mm-hmm. And I would just make sure your husband has a go bag packed already with, and as days get closer, maybe a cooler and stuff, because it could be a longer process if you have to labor for a long time. And then, believe it or not, no one checks on you to see if you're hungry. So I was in there for like 24 hours without food. I'm like, I know she just had a baby, but I'm starving right now. Can I get a Subway sandwich or something? So
a cooler. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I highly suggest it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate your time, and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Yes, keep fighting.
Well, I appreciate you guys. And I will say we both played Jay in that Folds of Honor game.
Yep.
A few weeks ago. You get up to bat, right? And I'm just wherever the team needs me. Again, I hadn't told anyone at this point that I was pregnant.
Sure.
And so I was about maybe 6.5, almost 7 months pregnant. And so I'm in right field, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then you get up to bat. So I'm like backing up, right? Like I'm all the way to the back. You send one flying over my head to the point where I'm running to get the ball. I have a hat on. My hat goes flying off my head. I'm running so fast. I get there, I throw the ball in. You probably were like already made it like back home at this point. And I could hear people in the outfield who were sat back there. Actually, I think it was like the Navy crew. You know how they obviously.
Yeah.
I felt a finger
like,
point right there.
Navy boys.
I was on the third base line. It wasn't me. Whatever you're about to
It's the
say.
Navy crew. They're like, you need to run faster. I'm like, you know what, you guys? I'm grateful for your service, but watch it.
Not to be messed with today.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
So
That was a fun
just
game.
a
They,
funny
ra-
story.
It was.
they raised a lot of money. That was a good event.
It was real fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah. You guys did a great job.
we tried.
Cool. Well, thank you, Riley, once again.
Thank you
So,
guys.
and enjoy your week.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome back anytime. If you ever want to come back
Next
on.
time it's to talk about hunting. I see that bear back there.
Do it.
Yeah. I smoked that thing in Maine.
I love that.
About 6 years ago, maybe.
It's a big bear.
Yeah. Good, real good bear for Maine.
Yeah.
So, but yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Appreciate
Velvet
it.
season in Tennessee, in, what, 2 weeks or so?
Yeah.
So
Yep. They get that 3-day here. And Kentucky opens September, so getting close.
Yes, ma'am.
that's it.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Enjoy your day.
Congratulations.